It is technically Monday, April 8th, and the Splash Zone is back in your life. I am Matt Moda, and I have three NBA player props for you guys to lock in for tomorrow's NBA betting slate. So we're talking about player props for tomorrow, Tuesday, April 9th. There were no games today, I'm guessing because of the college basketball final, but because there were no games today, it meant that sportsbooks posted odds early for tomorrow's slate. So I figured I would hop on the YouTube channel, get out some early bangers for you guys to lock in. Of course, before we can get into the picks for tomorrow, we got to do a recap, and it was amazing. So you last saw me on Wednesday because I was traveling from Thursday to Sunday, and I continued to send out picks via my Dub Club, and we went on the heater of a lifetime. Of course, it happens when we're not recording YouTube videos, but for those of you that followed me, you had an amazing weekend. I gave out 12 player props from Thursday to Sunday. We got 11 of those 12 to cash. We were up over 10 units on those 4 days alone. Of course, the one play that we missed, we got hooked. We had Russell Westbrook over 21.5 PRA. He ended with exactly 21. It would have been amazing if we could have cashed all 12, went on a 12 hit streak with these NBA player props, but still, 11-1 is amazing. All of the picks, again, were sent out to my Dub Club, which I only charge $5 a month. And then as for the entire season, that brings us so close to the 100 unit profit mark. We're up like 99.97 units on the entire season. It's been amazing. Never in a million years thought I would get close to the 100 unit of profit mark, but hey, we're not there yet. I'm very confident that we will in these next couple days. Would love to get to the 100 unit mark of profit after today. And then, of course, for ladder plays, we're admittedly on a cold streak there, under a unit on ladder plays specifically. But you're only as good as your most recent bangers, so enough bragging about the past. Let's get to the future and get to tomorrow's picks. Real quick, before I even do that, remember to like the video, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff does help me out a ton. But now enough of that. Let's get into tomorrow's bangers. The first play that we are going to go ahead and lock in here is in the Wizards versus Timberwolves game, and I'm taking Rudy Gobert over 13.5 rebounds, minus 120 odds at bet 365. After a couple days off, here we go, back to the system play of taking your center rebound props against the Wizards. It's a tale as old as time at this point. For those of you that have been following along my channel know, if there's a center that hangs out around the paint that does not go to the perimeter, you're going to want to take that center's rebound prop against the Wizards. It's just a gold mine that we found here. On the entire season, the Wizards have allowed literally the most rebounds to centers in the entire NBA by far, right? It's not even close between them and the second team. They're allowing 17.7 rebounds per game to centers. The next closest team is the Hornets, and they're all the way down at 16.1. That's what, a 1.6 gap between them and the second highest team. That's a massive gap when you take into account the amount of games played and still how far ahead the Wizards are from the next closest team. Unsurprisingly, if you look at Courtside Pal, they list the Wizards as the best matchup in the NBA when it comes to Rudy Gobert's rebounding style, which is exactly what we've said, right? A rebound that hangs out around the paint, doesn't go out to the perimeter, is going to rack up a ton of rebounds against the Wizards. And if you're wondering why the Wizards are such a good matchup, there are a couple reasons why, but the most important one is when centers collect a bunch of rebounds, it's mostly on shots that are close to the rim, right? I'm calling it within 5 feet of the basket, anywhere within the paint area. The logic being the closer the shot is to the basket, the less far it travels if it misses. For three-pointers, yeah, those can careen off the rim and go pretty far. So you want to target guards against teams that shoot a lot of jump shots. That's not the Wizards. Over the past 10 games, the Wizards have literally attempted the second most shots within 5 feet of the basket in the entire NBA, which again, 5 feet really just means the paint. That's great news for us and for Rudy Gobert's rebounding prop. What is also good news is that the Wizards, are horrible, so they miss a bunch of shots, and they play at a super fast pace as well. They play at the second fastest pace in the entire NBA over the past 10 games, only behind the Lakers, who have been playing really fast recently. So the Wizards shoot a lot around the rim. They miss a lot around the rim because they stink, and they play at a really fast pace, which just leads to more shots in general. That's why the Wizards are such a good matchup for rebound props for centers. Now, I understand that 14 rebounds might seem like a lot, but this is a number that Gobert has cleared in 3 of his last 4 games. In one of those games that he cashed the over, he did it on only 27 and a half minutes of play against the Raptors. So even if this game turns into a blowout, it's still possible that Gobert cashes even in less than 30 minutes of playing time. And if the game is close, then even better. So I love this play, Rudy Gobert's rebound prop. As our first play, Next up, in the Pacers versus Raptors game, I'm taking RJ Barrett over 23.5 points, -115 odds at bet 365. So one thing that I do is I send out plays early, as I mentioned, to my dub club. Admittedly, I sent this out and locked it in at 21.5. I locked it in before Emmanuel quickly got ruled out for the game. So because he got ruled out, RJ Barrett's point prop went up by 2 points. But Emmanuel quickly being out, that's even better for RJ Barrett scoring, which we'll get into. Now, looking at the player, Barrett went through a horrible, unspeakable family tragedy. He took some time off, but he's quietly been playing really, really well recently. And even since he came back from taking that personal time off, overall, you're going to say he's only cleared this number in 4 of his last 10 games. But when you drill into that a little bit, 3 games he missed, he had exactly 23 points. Another game he missed, he had 22 points. Now, it would be a bummer if we got hooked again or if he came that close, but that just shows you that the floor is there. And that includes 3 games that he has returned from his personal time off with 28, 26, and 22 points in those 3 games. Now, normally I would try to fade those recent results, but I do think that at the end of the season, the general public, I can't imagine, is paying that close attention to the Raptors. So I do think that you can find some value on these gross, horrible tanking teams towards the end of the season, teams that the general public isn't paying that much attention to. And this is also an excellent matchup against a horrible Pacers defense that's been horrible all year. The way you want to score against the Pacers is just by driving to the hoop, whether it's via isolation, whether it's as the pick and roll ball handler. Any player that can drive to the hoop is going to score a lot of points against the Pacers. The Pacers are literally giving up the most points per game via isolation and the most points per game to pick and roll ball handlers as well. Being that bad in both is astounding, and it just means that anybody that drives can penetrate into the paint is going to score against the Pacers. And RJ Barrett, over the past 10 games, he leads the Raptors in drives per game, and unsurprisingly leads the team in points per game via drives as well. Now, he leads the team by far in both of those categories, and the next closest guy was Emmanuel Quickly, who's not even playing in this game. RJ Barrett has cashed this in both of his most recent games against the Pacers, and as I mentioned, Quickly is out for this game, and RJ Barrett sees the second highest usage rate increase when Emmanuel Quickly is off the floor, and by far has the highest usage rate on the Raptors without Quickly as well. I love this play. I think there are a ton of reasons to think that RJ Barrett could go over his point total prop. Let's hope he does as our second play. Third up, final pick for this video. I'll probably send out more plays tomorrow morning and stuff like that as the day goes on. But as for right now, just these 3. Third one being in the Heat versus Hawks game, and taking DeJounte Murray to record a double-double, +145 odds at bet 365. Now, the main play here is that he gets to double-digit assists, that he gets to at least 10 assists. If it happens in rebounds, that would be surprising. That would be amazing. And then for points, while I don't love his point prop overall, his over-under is like 22.5. So if he doesn't get the 10 points, so be it. But the value, the odds were a little bit better on double-double, so that's why I went with that. But I love this play against the Heat as well. It's kind of a system play, but it's a very specific niche system play against the Heat. But the way the Heat play defense, they throw a ton of different types of looks at you, and their style of defense is to try and stop the number one option, basically make anybody else beat you but the number one option. When the number one option is a point guard like DeJounte Murray, that leads to a ton of assists for those point guards. Now, it's a pretty specific scenario, but it's something that we have looked at in the past, and it has come through for us. Last week, we were on Jalen Brunson over his assist prop. It was at 6.5. He had 10 assists. Later last week, Tyrese Maxey had 11 assists against the Heat. Now, yeah, that was being played with Embiid, but it was a hobble Embiid. Even if Maxey wasn't the top option, he still had 11 assists against the Heat. And on the entire season, the Heat are allowing the 5th most assists per game, specifically to DeJounte Murray's playmaking style. That makes sense. High usage guards, who generally are the focal point of the offense, they can rack up a bunch of assists against the Heat. And Murray has been playing really well from a passing perspective as well. He's cleared this number in 6 of his last 10 games. 2 of the games that he did not clear it are games in which he went off from a scoring perspective. He scored 30 and 40 plus points in those 2 games. I don't love his point prop in this one. I really like his assist prop. So yeah, I think he'll get the double-digit points, but I don't think he'll go hit passes over under. And that just leads to more passing, which I'm expecting for DeJounte Murray. In this same sample size, over the past 10 games, he is averaging 9.6 assists per game. That's the second most in the NBA in the span. Only Luka Doncic is averaging more assists in the last 10 games than DeJounte. Last time he played the Heat was on January 19th. Trae Young missed that game. DeJounte had 11 assists on 20 potential assists. That's incredibly juicy. I wouldn't be surprised if something similar happened. I love this play. Let's hope he comes through for us, cashing our third and final pick of the video. And that's all we got. 3 bangers for you guys to lock in. Again, remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And the last thing that I'll mention, I mention it at the end of every video. I've hinted at it a couple times, but just to give you more detail, I do have a dub club. It's only $5 a month. And the way it works is the picks that you see on YouTube and on Twitter that I give out for free. Those are the same picks that you get on Dub Club as well. Now, Dub Club, if you're unfamiliar, it's a service you can sign up for to just get people like me their plays sent directly to your phone via text, email, Telegram. So the reason why I have it is not everybody cares about the YouTube videos. They'd rather just get the plays sent directly to them. Not everybody has time to watch the YouTube videos, so they sign up for the Dub Club as a way to just, if they don't have time, or sometimes by the time people watch the videos, the odds change, which is kind of frustrating. Just like the RJ Barrett example. People who were on the Dub Club got that at 21.5 points. Now it's at 23.5. So sometimes people watch the YouTube videos and the odds change. That's why I have the Dub Club. Everything, as soon as I decide what a play is, it gets sent directly to you. So you can kind of get plays in before the odds change. Again, I only charge $5 a month because I recognize you can get everything for free on YouTube and on Twitter. And if you would rather pay the best price of free to get everything there, that's totally fine with me. I just like to give people the option. And that's all we got. Appreciate everybody for watching and have a good one.